Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Hometown Heroes. I'm Mike Kenichi and this is part two of our two-part series, and I want to introduce tonight's guest. She's doing a lot of great things, especially with library development. She is the head and director of the Connecticut Division of Library Development. It is my honor to introduce to you Miss Dawn Lavalle. And Dawn, I want to thank you for coming on today. It's a real honor.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Dawn, let me ask you, how long have you been involved with the library development?
So I've been with the Connecticut State Library Division of Library Development for going on 13 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And just talk to me about the experience of that, Dawn, because, again, the last guest we had on, I mentioned how rewarding doing things like that is. It's got to be very rewarding what you do every day.
Absolutely. So working in a public library is rewarding in and of itself. You're serving the public, you're doing so many different things. But working at the state level in the Division of Library Development, we have impact on everyone. Everything we do basically touches every resident in the state of Connecticut, whether they're served by a public library, a school library, or they're in a university library.
And for someone who goes to libraries a lot, I do a lot of research, it always fascinates me how they go above and beyond for the customers that are there. I mean, if you need like the microfilm because you want to look up something, they'll go get it for you, they'll put it on for you, they'll help you in any way they can. And they also will do research for you as well. If you call them or email them and say, could you look up such and such in this year, 1922, whatever it might be, they will go out of their way to do that. So it really says a lot about the work ethic that the staff members at libraries across the town or across the state do for people.
Absolutely. So at the state library, we have the law and legislative librarians, we have the genealogists, historians. Public libraries have adult librarians, school librarians, and we love it when people come through the front door and they have a challenging question for us. We love research. We ultimately love helping the public, and that's really what it's all about. It's about making sure people get the information that they need to do what they need to do.
Right. One of the programs that you're involved with is the digital navigation program. What is the purpose of it and how is it financed?
So the digital navigation project, a regional digital navigation project, came out of some work we were doing during the pandemic. So the Salt Lake City Public Library developed the Digital Navigator program, and during the pandemic, when people were stuck at home, kids were stuck at home, we looked at their program as a way to engage the public with the resources that they need when they could not get into the public library. So this is a project that's administered by the Connecticut State Library in cooperation with the Hamden Public Library. It is funded by an Institute of Museums and Library Services grant, national leadership grant, and the intent of it is to build a program that other libraries can look at and replicate and do themselves in their communities. But we're very fortunate to be able to get this federal funding in order to do this very important project, especially with the Digital Equity Act that was passed a few years ago and putting money into communities to connect people.
And Dawn, one of the things about getting stuff funded is you have to do a lot of grant writing. You have to really you have to make the presentation of what you're trying to accomplish and what your goal is. And you really have to specify it in order to get grants like that. So a lot of work goes into trying to get things like this funded.
Absolutely. So we had a head start in that we, during the pandemic, we had received some federal ARPA money, and we did a pilot which this program was based off of. So we already created a lot of data. We created a framework for the project, and so it basically wrote itself. But I have my coordinator for this project, Chris Gavro, is an extraordinary writer, and she really put us over the top for getting this grant.
Right. Now, does this program help people get computers as well?
Absolutely. So the main intent of the program is to engage people with a computer, a device, a Chromebook, their iPhone, and be able to use it. But the other part of it is many people do not have their own devices. They do not have the ability to purchase a laptop or a Chromebook. So this program, we actually put some funding aside to provide used and refurbished devices for our participants who needed them. So right now, as of today, we deployed 240 laptops used and refurbished to participants in our program.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, and it's very important, like you said, because not everybody does have access to computers, to technology, things like that. So this is one of the biggest things your program does, is help people with that.
Exactly. And I would also mention that 98% of our public libraries in the state of Connecticut, the 191 library outlets, have public access computers. With a grant from Governor Lamont in 2021, the Everybody Learns grant, we were able to provide Chromebooks to those libraries, and they're lending them out or they're giving them out. So they're lending out Chromebooks, laptops, and hotspots as well to people who don't have the ability to get those devices. And you're right, it's absolutely so important, because you can't engage in digital citizenship without a device or an internet connection.
Right. It's obvious, Dawn, that so many towns throughout Connecticut have libraries, but what are some of the towns that set up this program?
So the towns that are set up with our regional digital navigation project are Derby Neck,
Yep.
Howard Whittemore, Naugatuck,
Oh, okay.
West Haven, Hamden, Woodbridge, East Haven, Stamford. I think I got all of them. We also have some other libraries who are already doing a navigation program on their own, and that's East Hartford, Wallingford Library, New London Library, and Stamford Library. And Hartford Library also has a program. And there's a little contingent of libraries up in our northwest corner who are working together to do a program like this as well.
And let me ask you, Dawn, I mean, do you find yourself going to the different towns, the different libraries, to see how things are going, how this program is working, things like that? I'm sure you're traveling a lot sometimes to make sure everything runs well.
Absolutely. So I am all over the state. If we're not doing something via Zoom, actually today we have a regional digital navigator meeting today. So we meet weekly to ensure that they're not having any issues, or if there's an issue, we're able to work it through. We're collecting our data. We're ensuring that the ultimate goals of this project is to create a program that's replicable. And part of that is building a toolkit to do that. So we're out there every day, we're on the phone every day, and to ensure that they're able to do the work that we need them to do.
And Dawn, you must put in a lot of hours. I mean, I know, like, traditionally a 40-hour work week is what most people do, but I'm sure you're putting in sometimes 60 hours a week, because you're traveling, like I said, to different libraries. You're making sure these programs are running well. You're on the phone with different people. You're grant writing. So I'm sure your days could be long at times.
So my hours are 40 plus.
Yeah.
So whatever needs to get done in my day, we get done. And it's also, we want to be accessible. My staff, my team, our libraries know that they can reach us at any time, really. Just to touch base, or if they're not feeling certain about something. It really is important that everyone feels that they have someone they can reach out to right away.
And let me ask you, Dawn, it's a technology world, we know that, but there are still people who are, again, traditionalists. There are people that are, I'll use the word, I guess, old school, who don't necessarily like to use technology. They rather read the regular newspaper than go online, things like that. Do you have experience with helping people who may not have the best computer skills?
Yes, and you're absolutely right. We used to call it a digital divide, but we learned that there's a digital abyss, and it's not so much age groups either. It's even youngsters that don't have access. But working with older adults who have I don't need a computer, I don't need to do this. But more and more they're finding that, to get onto, especially now, to be able to get onto their Social Security account, they can't call anymore. They have to have an account to be able to go in and access their benefit review. So we work with older adults to get familiar with the devices, to be able to get on to create an email address, to learn how to actually even learn how to facilitate a telehealth visit, which is it's not easy. It's not just a matter of just calling somebody up. It's ensuring you have a connection and you're looking at a camera and you know when to click. And libraries for decades have connected people with computers, going back to the mid-90s when the Gates Foundation implemented computers in the public libraries across the country. And librarians do it on a regular basis. This program allows that one-on-one, repeated, walking somebody through. It's not as easy as something that you can do in 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes a couple of days to get someone used to being able to turn the computer on. The most amusing thing I ever experienced in doing a computer class was giving someone a mouse for the first time, and they immediately put it on their chest as if it was a scanner. Yeah. But it's just getting familiar with the mouse, with the keyboard, with cameras, with a thumb drive. Just teaching them these very basics, and the joyful thing is having a grandparent being able to Zoom with their grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
When they live halfway across the country. That connection is so important. There's so much loneliness with older adults. And even a Zoom connection for a program could mean the world to them.
And it's really funny, Dawn, how computers have taken off, because in the early days, the biggest thing we had to worry about was sending an email, trying to get on and doing a dial-up. Yeah. And the internet is just taken off like crazy. I mean, everything's a digital world nowadays. But for somebody like yourself and somebody like me, we didn't always have digital access. When I was a kid, there was none of that there. So was it difficult at first for you to adjust to a internet world, or were you able to kind of adjust easily?
So I actually, I was in the military and way back in the day, and that was my first experience. Well, besides school, taking a computer class to learn how to write a code, we were beginning to transfer written records onto networks. Military and universities have been using computers since the 60s, so that I was able to adapt. I had the basic skill set, that kind of beta skill set, and then when in the mid-90s when I was in corporate, it just became part of what we did. Yeah. But understanding that, my experience, I know the challenges for those who did not have that progressive experience in the digital world, and it can be pretty scary and it can be pretty intimidating. So we really try to make it enjoyable, to make it comfortable for those who are just getting used to it. And part of it also is teaching about security and scams and protecting yourself and protecting your information. So it's so much more than getting onto the computer. It's also about protecting their information.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, that's always the scary part, especially when you put anything online. But let me ask you this. The reduction in the workforce of the Social Security offices, IRS and Veterans Administration may make it difficult to change or question anything. Wait time may be hours. Do you expect a greater need for navigators at the library? And it was noted this program is ending in May, I believe?
Yes.
So what do you expect? I mean, do you hope it'll be extended?
So the main intent of this program was to create a toolkit. So with the work that Hamden Library has done and the work that the state library does, we're creating a kind of like a basic toolkit, a step-by-step how to do this. And it's mainly a lot for libraries that don't have the capacity to do that. But we know when somebody has an issue with Social Security, veterans, particularly with veterans access to hospitals and their centers being closed down, where's the first place that they go? They go to the public library. Yeah. So librarians, we're giving them the capacity to do that. And I know, my example earlier about Social Security, we know that with the reduction in access on the phone lines, which was normally the main way that seniors accessed, or even they can't even go into an office because offices are getting shut down. We know that the demand at the public library is going to be to help have someone, a digital navigator, to be able to go into the community, not necessarily in a library. They can go to the senior center, they can go to a restaurant, they can go to a parking lot, they can go to the beauty salon, and help that person navigate that new world of accessing their information when they can no longer do it in the manner that they were accustomed to.
Right. Yeah, it really is something, and I mean, I think it's something that it's helping a lot of people, which is a wonderful thing. What does someone have to do if they want to become a navigator? What is required?
So the main skill sets of a navigator is not so much the tech skills. It's being empathetic,
Right.
having humility, and being able to teach. So and when we were recruiting for the navigators, that was really the key part. It wasn't the technical skills, it wasn't the computer skills, it was the ability to connect with somebody. And so we put them through training. Hamden Library had a training manual, but also the National Digital Inclusion Alliance also has a 3-day training program that we engaged our navigators in to teach them how to evaluate and assess someone's needs. What did they need? Did they need just to learn how to click on, or did they need a device? To make recommendations, to connect them with needs, connect them with a device, or connect them with more advanced programming or teaching. It was being able to assess and then follow up and ensure that they got what they needed. So it was really having that empathy, understanding, being patient, being patient with someone who's never had a device when they put that mouse on their chest, but also to ensure that they were able to answer all the questions. And if they couldn't answer the questions, know where to refer them to and follow up.
Absolutely. And Dawn, most people, I would say more younger people, because they haven't worked yet, they don't really understand the work environment. To them, it's you punch in, you punch out. But really, at the end of the day, most people nowadays who are in their field, whatever it may be, they're making a difference every day. And that's really what it is. And it's not about just collecting a paycheck, because when you work every day and you get into your office, I mean, your day, like you said, could be very long, 40 plus hours, but you know that when you leave each day, you're making an impact. You're doing something inspiring, you're doing something impactful, and you're making a difference. So, I mean, when you're doing a program like this, even though the days are long, it must be rewarding at the same time, because you know that you're helping a lot of people.
Absolutely. And you're right. It's that when I first started in computer in libraries, I used to do ESL programs. I still am in contact with those students from 2008.
Wow.
Having an ESL person learn how to use a computer in a different language and get a job. And it's seeing that barber in Stamford, Connecticut, learn how to use QuickBooks after for so many years he was using a general ledger to do his accounts. It's those simple thank yous. It's those simple smiles. It's giving someone the access to do what they needed to do to participate in our society, which is becoming very digital. And again, it could be very daunting for someone, but it's almost like giving them freedom to engage in society, and that's really that smile, that thank you, that little note that they write to you is so super. It's super empowering.
Right, definitely. So, Dawn, let me ask you, a year from now, where do you want to see this program be? What would satisfy you a year from now to see this program be at?
So part of our goal with a national leadership grant, it's not just in the state of Connecticut, it's to have this program deployed across the country. The Connecticut State Library has a few programs that have been deployed across the country that are nationally known and used. And our goal, again, is to build on the work of the Salt Lake City Public Library and our library, and to have, you know, the folks in Maine, folks in California, folks in Utah, click on to our toolkit and be able to deploy this program in their communities. But to be a little selfish, yes, we definitely want every library in the state of Connecticut to be able to either work together for another library to do this or to do it on their own. And they won't just have the toolkit, they'll also have the support of the Connecticut State Library Division of Library Development, and they'll have the support of the 8 libraries that participated in this program with us, including Hamden and West Haven and so forth.
Well, Dawn, I really think it's a great program. I applaud what you're doing. I think that you are giving so many people an opportunity who aren't the best at the digital world. They're still learning the technology world, and you're offering them a platform where they could really help with that and get the necessary skills to live in a digital type world. So I really do applaud what you are doing. I think it's a great organization, and I thank you for giving me some time today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for allowing us to talk about this amazing program that we're so proud of.
And it really is amazing, and thank you again, Dawn.
Thank you.
And there you have it, folks. You just got to know Dawn Lavalle, and what she is doing each and every day for so many people should never go unnoticed. Programs like the one Dawn is doing is so impactful, so inspiring, and it's so helpful to so many people. Again, not everybody is great at the digital world. Not everybody is a master at technology. But when you have a support system and you have people who are willing to go above and beyond to help you with anything you're having a problem with, it makes things so much easier. You know, when you're going to a library, that the librarians are going to give you their very best to help you in any way they can. It makes things so much easier, and guess what? When you leave that library, you know that you had people who cared about you and were willing to help you in any way they can. And Dawn Lavalle is proof of that. Talking about libraries, in a local newspaper, it was reported that 12 libraries in the state receive a national grant to participate through the American Library Association for small and rural communities to support disabled patrons. It would mean homebound delivery service and outreach through pop-up libraries and enhanced programs. They are Oxford, Oakdale, Roxbury, Reading, Thomason, Putnam, Preston, New Hartford, Ledyard, Wyndham, Franklin, and Coventry. It was suggested that you should contact these libraries to offer your suggestions for your area. Now, we have another guest on right now, and I'm very honored to have him on. He's doing a lot of great things. He is currently a municipal agent at the Senior Center in Beacon Falls, Connecticut. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the one and only Art Dagle. And Art, I want to thank you for coming on today. It's a real pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
So Art, explain to me and to the audience, what is the responsibility of a municipal agent?
What I do is I provide the citizens of Beacon Falls information that they need when they have concerns and help. I provide them and direct them into the right people, the different agencies that we're all involved with. And I make sure they get together. I don't get involved with their personal finances or any of that stuff. I get them involved with the right people, then I'll follow up and make sure that they've made contact.
Right. And like anything else, Art, it's not easy to fund all this stuff. It's never easy. So how is it exactly funded?
Well, as a director of the Senior Center also, we're funded by the town of Beacon Falls. A lot of these other agencies like TEAM, Western Connecticut area for the agencies, and the different utility companies, they're funded themselves. They just have programs out there available for citizens. And it's my job just to put everybody in the right place.
Right. And I think you mentioned this to me when we first met, Art, that you've been doing it 3 years now. How has the experience been thus far?
I'll tell you, as far as the Senior Center director and having the ability to help people, it's very rewarding. I have a great group of people that come to our Senior Center, and it's really a fun, nice atmosphere that's created there. And it's a nice place for people, you know, when they have, instead of being alone, come down there and become part of a family.
Yeah.
And we stress that down there, you know. we're not the biggest senior center. We're probably the smallest, but we're the friendliest.
Yeah.
And people really enjoy themselves. We have a lot of programs that we provide for them. Our library provides a lot of activities for them. Kim Stevens is the assistant director. She's also the minibus driver, and we do a lot of restaurant trips and different activities that we have for them there. And it's really a fun place. Not everybody comes down there remarks about how fun it is.
Yeah, and I'm sure like anything else, for the senior citizens, they get to develop new friendships that people they had never met before, and they kind of get to make these lifelong friendships, which is very, in a lot of ways for them, very rewarding, because like anything else, life's all about the opportunities and meeting different people. So that's got to be something that they really take out of it more than anything else.
They do. That is a very important part of that structure. It is.
Right. So let me ask you, Art, do you have to be a member of the Senior Center, be a local resident, and be over 55 to access your services?
Yes.
Yes. So explain that a little bit.
As far as joining the senior center, you have to be over 55 and be a resident of the town. Some of these other activities, it's for the residents of the town, and that, it doesn't make a difference on your age or your status. Call me. I'll try to hook you up with the right people. We also have surrounding towns that have very active senior centers that can provide something like the AARP drive-in course. We don't have enough people. One or two might sign up for. Naugatuck very graciously takes on those people, and we send them down there.
Right.
And that's how it works.
You touched on it a couple seconds ago. There are a lot of great things that go on at the Senior Center.
Right.
But what are some of the other benefits of joining the Senior Center?
Just the camaraderie that is created between people. I think that's the greatest benefit. When you're dealt with some tough situations, instead of staying home alone, come down. People they're all in the same boat, and they're willing to talk and make you laugh and smile, and that's our goal. And that's very important to people.
And I'm sure, Art, that when you get to know so many of the members that are part of that senior center, that you develop, like a family bond with them as well. So again, you oversee everything, but you also get to know all the members of the senior center. So for you are also getting, when you see smiles on their faces and they're enjoying themselves,
right.
You must go home every day with a sense of pride knowing that you and your team there are making a difference.
That's one of the things. When I talk to them and I say, listen, you judge, and you judge yourself by listening to the crowd when you have an activity. There's a lot of laughing, a lot of smiling, a lot of happy people. You're successful. That's how you can tell if you're doing a good job. Providing for those people so they have a good environment. And you're right. That's exactly what we look for.
Right.
And we make sure it happens.
And I think it's really a great thing. Like I said, like anything else, when you get older, you want to belong to something. You want to continue to, you're only as old as you feel. And when you're doing activities like this and being part of a group like this and, I would call it like a family unit, you
right.
feel young still. You don't necessarily feel like you're getting older. You still feel like...
You feel, right.
Yeah, you still feel vital and like you could still do things,
right.
And age is not an issue at all.
No. And one thing we do, it's word of mouth. You got to have your members talk to friends and neighbors and stuff.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of that. And then, bring them down and have them be part of it. A lot of people feel uncomfortable, want to... Maybe they're shy or whatever it is. Come on down.
Yeah.
Come on down, spend some time with us, play bingo, have the dinners on Wednesdays. We do Wii bowling. And we got a great group of people that run all those things. And they really I have never seen anyone come down there and be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. I realize you're familiar with what TEAM has done in your area. How you may have to help people fill out some forms for them. Let's discuss some other local programs in which you may have to help a senior. first would be for homeowners, there's property tax. Then for renters, there's renters rebate. So talk about that a little bit.
What we do is the town's assessors will the tax rebates and all the property things that come for that. We make sure that we post it. The town is very actively pursuing seniors and people who are eligible for those rebates to go through there. I have it posted, and if they come to me, I make sure they get to the right place. And again, I follow up and make sure they made contact, that things are going forward, not just a phone call. Again, some people don't know, and I help them that way. I get on the phone, tell them what they need. The tax thing, we also have American Legion in our town of Beacon Falls for veterans benefits.
Yeah.
And they meet at our place. And again, the same thing. I'll take the name, the number, and I'll communicate it with the people of the American Legion. And they've been awesome as far as helping people. Team is another great resource for us. And every time I've contacted people, they've responded, and they've either put me in the right direction if they can't provide the help, or they take care of it themselves. And the one thing that I assure people is, like if you called me, I'd say, Mike, you say, I need help financially for this and this, I can't do this. I just hook you up with the people. I don't need to know what your finances are.
Yeah.
I don't need to violate any HIPAA laws if you have health issues, but I put you with the right people. And I just call you back in a week, Mike, how's everything going?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to just drop your, just forget about it right now.
Yeah.
And then people don't want to be a pest. Well, I could be a little pesty. And I just make sure that people are being taken care of. Our town has been wonderful to anybody that has any problems with our town. It's been wonderful. The Board of Selectmen, the first selectman has said, look, you make sure we provide help for our seniors. They deserve it, and that's what we do for them.
Yeah. And I think the common theme with organizations like yourself and team, you all have the same goal, and it's to help make it as affordable for the people that you're representing, the people you're helping.
Right.
And you're not trying to, make anything where they can't pay it or they have trouble. You try to do everything you can to help them with expenses.
Exactly. That's what you do. You just, like I said, their financial position is their privacy, and I honor that. I just try to help them make sure they get to the right people, and those people, do what they have to do.
Now, what are some other ways, Art, that people can reduce their expenses?
The tax program is a big way for them to do it. We have a free tax program that team provides us every tax season. They do have their income taxes done for free. We have the food program. We have the farmers market that we run through there. And a lot of people, that takes the biggest part of my job, is getting them all set. But they get the free vegetables, they get the food box program, and it's all good.
Yeah.
And again, if there's some more things they need, we have the churches, our organizations with the churches and stuff have been very helpful and good. We're lucky to be in Beacon Falls. We got some real great programs and great people that help, not only seniors, help anybody.
Art, I'm sure you've noticed it. Everything seems to go up, and especially insurance. So how do you handle that when it comes to insurance? Because as you know, it goes up all the time.
Again, the same thing with insurance. I know AARP offers a lot of benefits for seniors, and we have several different insurance agencies cards that we can refer people to. Someone's, I need this, and you put them onto that. Some legal elderly assistance. We have lawyers that we can refer them to.
Yeah.
The worst thing we could do is tell them to do this, do that, and find out it's wrong and give them bad information. So we always refer them to the right people.
Right. And that's the thing too, Art, is everything that you and your team are trying to do is to benefit the members of the senior center. You're not trying to, it has nothing to, the only agenda is to make them happy when they're there
Right.
and help them in any way. And that's very important because, I mean, especially like the families, you know, if somebody has their father being a member, or somebody has their mother being a
Right.
member, or an aunt, whatever it might be, they have a sense of comfort knowing that when their loved ones are going there, they're getting the very best, and like I said earlier, having smiles put on their faces every day, and they're enjoying themselves, because like anything else, when you retire, you need stuff that you want to find to occupy your time, and programs like the Senior Citizen Center are a perfect example of that.
Oh yeah, they do the low impact exercises. We have the chair yoga provided by the YMCA. We're in the process of looking for a silver sneaker director from the YMCA. Okay. We had a real good one. He passed on us, and we have local people inside the center that is doing it on tapes, but it's not like having a certified person.
Right.
Like we do on Thursday afternoons. We have a young lady who comes in and does chair yoga, and everybody enjoys it.
Yeah.
Now, those programs and some of the other programs we have, you don't have to be a member. You know, if you're a senior from Beacon Falls, we'll provide you with that, you know, how to get into that information. We have people that come to our exercise programs that are not members of the senior center. We'd like to have members, but it's not required.
No, and I mean, again, that's something that's good too if somebody wants to check it out and see how they like it.
Absolutely.
So you give them that opportunity. Now, one of the things about you that some people may not know is you're a veteran, which, you know, we applaud you for the service you provided. And there are many ways to help through one of the veterans groups. Give some examples of that.
Well, like some of the veterans who are looking for assistance, as far as VA assistance and stuff, I find the American Legion in Beacon Falls to be very, very helpful on that issue. We also have a VFW out of Naugatuck and out of Waterbury, which we can refer people to that too. But mostly in our town, the American Legion. That's what they have in Beacon Falls. And they have a great group of guys that run that, and they're more than happy to help anybody with anything.
Right. And let me ask you, Art, what do you suggest seniors do if they need help? I mean, what advice would you give them?
If anybody needs help, you can call the Senior Center at 203-723-2344. Leave a message, because I could be right outside the office. I don't run in and answer the phone. Leave a message with your name and phone number, and I will call you back.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And let me ask you this, Art. When you're leaving work and you're on your way home, you're in the car, what is the thing that I don't want to say proud, but that you're most satisfied about when you're on the way home? You've went through a whole day. What's one thing throughout the day that stands out to you about what you do?
The one thing that stands out is the fact that we can provide smiles for all the people that come here, and that everybody that comes is taken care of, and we treat them with all due respect and honor that they deserve. Our towns wouldn't be what they were if it wasn't for our seniors, and we really promote that. Yeah. And I feel gratified when I'm going home and knowing they all had a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't put a price tag on that, Art.
No.
I mean, that really is something that's so invaluable when you can, like you said, provide smiles and know that you and like anything else, you and your team are providing a service and doing something that really is, I don't want to, sound like a broken record, but it really is rewarding, because you know that you have, like I said, made them happy every day that they're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Art, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. It was a real honor. I really applaud the work that you and your team are doing. I think that organizations like this are really so inspiring and very impactful to so many people, and you have provided that to so many human beings day in and day out, year in and year out, and I really do thank you for the service that you and your team provide.
Well, thank you, Mike, for the service you do and getting the news out to everybody.
Well, I really do appreciate that. Folks, another tip from me, check with the Connecticut Unclaimed Property Unit to see if the state owes you or your member or a member of your family any money. See resource list next for phone number. I hope this show will help you reduce your expenses. Art, I do thank you again for coming on. Like I said, it was a real honor. And just keep up the great work because, like I said, what you and your team are doing is really outstanding. And again, I applaud you all for that. And thanks again.
Thank you, Mike.
And of course, that was the one and only Art Dagle. He is the municipal agent for the Beacon Falls Senior Citizen Center. He does a tremendous job. And it's impactful people like Art who really, day in and day out make a difference in everything they do because their one objective is to help these members of their programs any way they can. They do it for them. They don't do it for themselves. They do it because they are proud to do it. And it's really something, like I said, that's rewarding. And people like Art should always be applauded for that. For Hometown Heroes, I'm Mike Kenichi saying good night, everyone.